Hello and welcome to God Talk. I'm JC, your host. Today's daily Bible reading is going to be out of Leviticus 26:27 and Acts 23. I'm reading out of the Good News Translation. This is Lily, by the way. Let's see here. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe now. It really helps us out. As well as if you have any questions or any comments, you can go ahead and leave questions, comments at the bottom. You never know if it's going to help someone in their, spiritual growth. Let's see, Leviticus 26. I'm going to try to do this with her here. All right, let's see. Leviticus 26. All right, so Leviticus 26 reads, The Lord said, "Do not make idols or set up statues, stone pillars or carved stones to worship. I am the Lord your God. Keep the religious festivals and honor the place where I am worshipped. I am the Lord. If you live according to my laws and obey my commands, I will send you rain at the right time, and so that the land will produce crops and the trees will bear fruit. Your crops will be so plentiful that you will be still so plentiful that you will still be harvesting grain when it is time to pick grapes, and you will still be picking grapes when it's time to plant grain. You will have all that you want to eat, and you can live in safety in your land. I will give you peace in your land, and you can sleep without being afraid of anyone. I will get rid of the dangerous animals in the land, and there will be no more war there. You will be victorious over your enemies. 5 of you will be able to defeat 100, and 100 will be able to defeat 10,000. I will bless you and give you many children. I will keep my part of the covenant that I made with you. Your harvest will be so plentiful that they will last for a year, and even then you will have to throw away what is left of the old harvest to make room for the new. I will live among you in my sacred tent, and I will never turn away from you. I will be with you. I will be your God, and you will be my people. I, the Lord, your God, brought you out of Egypt so that you would no longer be slaves. I broke the power that held you down, and I let you walk with your head held high. The Lord said, if you will not obey my commands, you will be punished. If you refuse to obey my laws and commands and break the covenant I have made with you, I will punish you. I will bring disaster on you, incurable diseases and fevers that will make you blind and cause your life to waste away. You will plant your crops, but it will do you no good, because your enemies will conquer you and eat what you have grown. I will turn against you so that you will be defeated, and those who hate you will rule over you. You will be so terrified that you will run when no one is chasing you. If even after all of this you still do not obey me, I will increase your punishment 7 times. I will break your stubborn pride. There will be no rain, and your land will be dry and as hard as iron. All your hard work will do you no good, because your land will not produce crops, and the trees will not bear fruit. If you still continue to resist me and refuse to obey me, I will again increase your punishment 7 times. I will send dangerous animals among you, and they will kill your children, destroy your livestock, and leave so few of you that your roads will be deserted. If after all this punishment you still do not listen to me, but continue to defy me, then I will turn on you and punish you 7 times harder than before. I will bring war on you to punish you for breaking our covenant. And if you gather in your cities for safety, I will send incurable diseases among you, and you will be forced to surrender to your enemies. I will cut off your food supply so that 10 women will need only one oven to bake all the bread they have. They will ration it out, and when you have eaten it all, you will still be hungry. If after all of this you still continue to defy me and refuse to obey me, then in my anger I will turn on you and again make your punishment 7 times worse than before. Your hunger will be so great that you will eat your own children. I will destroy your places of worship on the hills, tear down your incense altars, and throw your dead bodies on your fallen idols. In utter disgust, I will turn your cities into ruins, destroy your places of worship, and refuse to accept your sacrifices. I will destroy your land so completely that the enemies will occupy it, will be shocked at the destruction. It will bring war on you and scatter you in foreign lands. Your land will be deserted, and your cities left in ruins. Then the land will enjoy the years of complete rest that you would not give it. It will lie abandoned and get its rest while you are in exile in the land of your enemies. I will make those of you who are in exile so terrified that the sound of a leaf blowing in the wind will make you run. You will run as if you were being pursued in battle, and you will fall when there is no enemy near you. You will stumble over one another when no one is chasing you, and you will be unable to fight against any enemy. You will die in exile, swallowed up by the land of your enemies. The few of you who survive in the land of your enemies will waste away because of your own sin and the sin of your ancestors. But your descendants will confess their sins and the sins of their ancestors, who resisted me and rebelled against me, and caused me to turn against them, and send them into exile in the land of their enemies. At last, when your descendants are humbled, and they have paid the penalty for their sin and rebellion, I will remember my covenant with Jacob and Isaac and with Abraham, and I will renew my promise to give my people the land. First, however, the land must be rid of its people so that it can enjoy its complete rest, and they must pay the full penalty of having rejected my laws and my commands. But even then, when they are still in the land of their enemies, I will not completely abandon them or destroy them. That would put an end to my covenant with them, and I am the Lord their God. I will renew the covenant that I made with their ancestors when I showed all the nations my power by bringing the people out of Egypt, in order that I, the Lord, might be their God. All these are the laws and commands that the Lord gave to Moses on the Mount Sinai for the people of Israel. Leviticus 27. The Lord gave Moses the following regulations for the people of Israel. When any of you have been given to the Lord in fulfillment of a special vow, you may be set free by the payment of the following sums of money, according to the official standard. Adult male, 20 to 60 years old, 50 pieces of silver. Adult female, 30 pieces of silver. Young male, 5 to 20 years old, 20 pieces of silver. Young female, 10 pieces of silver. Infant male under 5, 5 pieces of silver. Infant female, 3 pieces of silver. Male above 60 years of age, 15 pieces of silver. Female above 60, 10 pieces of silver. If any of you make a vow and agree to and are too poor to pay the standard, you shall bring the person to the priest, and the priest shall set a lower price according to your ability to pay. If your vow concerns an animal that is acceptable as an offering to the Lord, then every gift made to the Lord is sacred, and you may not substitute another animal for it. If you do, both animals belong to the Lord. But if your vow concerns a ritually unclean animal which is not acceptable as an offering to the Lord, you shall take the animal to the priest. The priest shall set a price for it according to its good or bad qualities, and the price will be final. If you wish to buy it back, you must pay the price plus an additional 20%. When any of you dedicate your house to the Lord, the priest shall set the price according to its goods or bad points, and the price will be final. If you wish to buy your house back, you must pay the price plus an additional 20%. If any of you dedicate part of your land to the Lord, the price shall be set according to the amount of seed it takes to sow. According to the amount of seed it takes to sow, at the rate of 10 pieces of silver per bushel of barley. If you dedicate the land immediately after a year of restoration, the full price applies. If you dedicate it at any time later, the priest shall estimate the cash value according to the number of years left until the next year of restoration, and set a reduced price. If you wish to buy your field back, you must pay the price plus an additional 20%. If you sell the field to someone else without first buying it back from the Lord, you lose the right to buy it back. At the next year of restoration, the field will become the Lord's permanent property. It shall belong to the priests. If you dedicate to the Lord a field that you have bought, a priest shall estimate its value according to the number of years until the next year of restoration, and you must pay the price that very day. The money belongs to the Lord, and at the year of restoration the field shall be returned to its original owner or to the descendants. All prices shall be set according to the official standard. The firstborn of an animal already belongs to the Lord, so no one may dedicate it to him or to him as a freewill offering. A calf, a lamb, or a kid belongs to the Lord, but the firstborn of an unclean animal may be bought back at the standard price plus an additional 20%. If it is not bought back, it may be sold to someone at the same standard price. None of you may sell or buy back what you have unconditionally dedicated to the Lord, whether it is a human being, an animal, or land. It belongs permanently to the Lord. Not even human beings who have been unconditionally dedicated may be bought back. They must be put to death. 1/10 of all the produce of land, whether grain or fruit, belongs to the Lord. If you wish to buy any of it back, you must pay the standard price plus an additional 20%. One of every 10 domestic animals belongs to the Lord. When the animals are counted, every 10th one belongs to the Lord. You may not arrange the animals so that the poor animals are chosen, and you may not make any substitutions. If you do substitute one animal for another, then both animals will belong to the Lord and may not be bought back. These are the commands that the Lord gave Moses on Mount Sinai for the people of Israel. Okay, that was Leviticus. That finished up Leviticus. We're moving into Numbers next. And then we're going to go shoot over to Acts 23. If you have any questions, any comments, once again, please leave a question or comment below. You never know if your question or comment might help somebody, answer what they have about the Bible, or help them in their spiritual growth. Of course, if you like the video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to God Talk, please subscribe now. It really, really helps us out. All right, Acts 23. Paul looked straight at the council and said, "My fellow Israelites, my conscience is perfectly clear about the way in which I have lived before God to this very day." The high priest and Ananias ordered those who were standing close to Paul to strike him on the mouth. Paul said to him, "God will certainly strike you, you whitewashed wall. You sit there to judge me according to the law, yet you break the law by ordering them to strike me." The men close to Paul said to him, "You are insulting God's high priest." Paul answered, "My fellow Israelites, I did not know that he was the high priest. The scripture says you must not speak evil of the ruler of your people." When Paul saw that some of the group were Sadducees and the others were Pharisees, he called out in the council, "Fellow Israelites, I am a Pharisee, the son of Pharisees. I am on trial here because of the hope that I have, because of the hope I have that the dead will rise to life." Pardon me. As soon as he said this, the Pharisees and Sadducees started to quarrel, and the group was divided. For Sadducees say that people will not rise from dead, and there are no angels or spirits, but Pharisees believe in all three. The shouting became louder, and some of the teachers of the law who belonged to the party of the Pharisees stood up and protested strongly. "We cannot find a thing wrong with this man. Perhaps a spirit or an angel really did speak to him." The argument became so violent that the commander was afraid that Paul would be torn into pieces, so he ordered his soldiers to go down into the group, get Paul away from them, and take him into the fort. The night the Lord stood by Paul and said, "Do not be afraid. You have given your witness for me here in Jerusalem, and you must also do the same in Rome." The next morning some Jews met together and made a plan. They took a vow that they would not eat or drink anything until they had killed Paul. There were more than 40 who planned this together. Then they went to the chief priests and elders and said, "We have taken a solemn vow together not to eat a thing until we have killed Paul. Now then, you and the council send word to the Roman commander to bring Paul down to you, pretending that you want to get more accurate information about him. But we will be ready to kill him before he ever gets here." But the son of Paul's sister heard about the plot, so he went to the fort and told Paul. Then Paul called one of the officers and said to him, "Take this young man to the commander. He has something to tell him." The officer took him, led him to the commander, and said, "The prisoner Paul called me and asked me to bring this young man to you because he has something to say to you." The commander took him by the hand, led him off by himself, and asked him, "What do you have to tell me?" He said, "The Jewish authorities have agreed to ask you tomorrow to take Paul down to the council, pretending that the council wants to get more accurate information about him. But don't listen to them, because there are more than 40 men who will be hiding and waiting for him. They have taken a vow not to eat or drink until they have killed him. They are now ready to do it and are waiting for your decision." The commander said, "Don't tell anyone that you have reported this to me," and he sent the young man away. Then the commander called 2 of his officers and said, "Get 200 soldiers ready to go to Caesarea, together with 70 horsemen and 200 spearmen, and be ready to leave by 9 o'clock tonight. Provide some horses for Paul to ride and get him safely through to Governor Felix." Then the commander wrote a letter that went like this: "Claudius Lysis, to His Excellency Governor Felix, greetings. The Jews seized this man and were about to kill him. I learned that he is a Roman citizen, so I went with my soldiers and rescued him. I wanted to know what they were accusing him of, so I took him down to their council, and I found out that he had not done a thing for which he deserved to die or be put in prison. The accusations against him had to do with questions about their own law, and when I was informed that there was a plot against him, at once I decided to send him to you. I have told his accusers to make their charges against him before you." The soldiers carried out their orders. They got Paul and took him that night as far as Antipatris. The next day the foot soldiers returned to the fort and left the horsemen to go on with him. They took him to Caesarea, delivered the letter to the governor, and turned Paul over to him. The governor read the letter and asked Paul what province he was from. When he found out that he was from Caesarea, he said, I will hear you when your accusers arrive." Then he gave orders to Paul to be kept under guard in the governor's headquarters. Thank you for tuning in to God Talk. I'm JC. that we just read our daily scripture, daily Bible reading of Leviticus 26, 27, and Acts 23. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, God Talk, please subscribe now. And of course, if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. God bless you, and I hope to hear from you and see you again.